All right, everybody, welcome in season 2, episode 13 of the Swishlist podcast. We are so excited to have you here. We're going to talk all things basketball. We're going to discuss the new Clippers logo. Did you know what it was before? Did it make any sense to you? We're also going to talk about something called the 40 before 20 rule from Phil Jackson and whether or not it's going to tell us who will win an NBA championship this season. Victor Wembanyama, maybe some Rob Dillingham talking about Caitlyn Clark. There is a lot to discuss. Let's start with a fun topic. Roman, the Clippers announced their rebrand as they're moving to their new stadium. Did you know that their logo was based off of a ship? Was that news to you?
Brand new news to me. I had no idea. I remember seeing it and I was like, this is an interesting logo. What's going on here? And I was like, is this a compass? But then I saw like the post about them talking about what it was. And I was like, I never knew that a Clipper was a giant ship. I had zero clue.
This is the thing. Everybody's calling people casuals for not knowing. Look, man, I'm supposed to know about all different types of boats because I like basketball. Like, what are we doing? I like basketball. That doesn't mean I know about every type of boat that exists. Leave me alone. I do think it's going to look good on a hat. I think that is going to look real
I
good on a
like the
hat.
logo. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
people saying, no, it doesn't look good. I think the logo, the simple logo, I think it's a good rebrand. I like it.
It's always tough to do a rebrand because, like, any new logo is not going to stack up against the Miami Heat logo or the LA Lakers logo or the Boston Celtics logo. It's not going to stack up against these historic franchises or just really spot on brands. And so you have to take it for what it is. When I'm looking at a logo like the Clippers, I'm comparing it to maybe some new leagues or new rebrands as of recent. So looking at it compared to like an Oklahoma City, looking at it compared to maybe some XFL teams in football, right? What did the Commanders do when they rebranded, right? Trying to find some equivalents. And I feel like it's nice. I like the jerseys. I like the color choice. And I genuinely think that their main logo is going to look real good on the hat. So shout out to the Clippers, the first of many changes. Next up, let's talk about who has a chance to really win an NBA title this season, right? We are back post All-Star break. We're getting to see a lot of basketball happen. We got some teams that are firing off wins. The Bucks, everybody was making fun of the Bucks going into the break, and they've won 5 straight since. But there's an interesting rule called the 40 before 20 rule from Phil Jackson. For those of you that don't know, Phil Jackson, 11-time NBA champion, as a head coach for the Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. And he said that to be a true elite championship contender, you have to win 40 games before you lose 20 games. Now, I get it. You might be wondering, hey, that sounds like the most random stat I've ever heard. Well, if you go look at the numbers, only 4 teams since 1989 have won a championship that did not fall in the 40 before 20 category. Now, we have played enough games for every team to tell us who falls in that category and who barely missed it. Right now, the 4 teams that qualify are the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Denver Nuggets, and the Boston Celtics. According to the 40 before 20 rule, those are the only 4 teams you can consider elite and that have a chance to win a title. The 2 that barely missed the cutoff are the LA Clippers and the Milwaukee Bucks. Roman, does this rule hold any validity in your eyes? And who do you think is going to win the NBA championship this season?
I think it definitely holds some validity. I mean, we look at our top 2 contenders, probably from the start of the year. It was Nuggets going back to back, probably. And then you look at the Celtics, who gained Kristaps Porzingis and
Mhm.
really filled out their lineup. So I think this is probably going to hold true, especially for this year. OKC is more of a young team. I don't see them winning a championship this early. Minnesota has never had playoff success. As the years go on, they'll probably see more and more of it. But again, a younger team, guys don't have much playoff success, so I don't see that from them. But the Nuggets did it coming off a championship, didn't really lose they didn't lose any starters, lost some
Mm.
core pieces off the bench, but these are still the Denver Nuggets. And the Celtics, I mean, seems like they're always contenders, but they added Drew Holiday, they added Kristaps Porzingis, Sam Hauser's playing good. They've got just really consistent guys, as the Celtics always have. But with the Celtics, it just seems like every year, the offseason, oh, they got better. There's no reason they shouldn't win, but for some reason they end up losing in the Eastern Conference Finals or getting beat by the underdog in the finals. It just happens too often. So as of right now, for me, it looks like this is a good formula, and Nuggets do look like a favorite right now.
What's sad is going into the season, Milwaukee was my team, and they were pacing to be able to hit this feat, the 40 before 20. And if you look at their record right now, you would be like, "Oh my gosh, they're basically there." The problem is they've won 5 straight, which means at one point they were 36 wins with 20 plus losses. And so they don't fit the criteria. They're just barely on the outside, but it's so hard not to pick them. It really feels like the East is a two-man show. It's Boston who is far and away ahead of everybody, and then Milwaukee is behind them, and then we're looking at the 76ers. That one really comes down to Joel Embiid's health, which feels like a wild card at this point, but it's a two-man show in the East, and I'm still gonna stick with my Milwaukee Bucks. I believe they
As
are
you
the
should.
team that is going to upset the Boston Celtics. I called that from the beginning of the season, and I will not step off that. I will stand on business. I'm gonna stand on my pick. They are who I'm taking to go to the finals. And when I look at the West, I agree with you. It really feels like you've got two teams that are young up and comers, primed to maybe be upset in the playoffs. And then you got the Nuggets. And I think this will come down to seeding. It's going to come down to who plays who on what side of the bracket. Because if the Thunder and the Timberwolves can cannibalize themselves, right? They play each other late in the postseason before we get to a Western Conference Finals. And then the Nuggets are waiting for them on the other side. That gives the Nuggets the best chance to be able to go back. I've got no reason to count the Nuggets out. My prediction today is we're going to see the Milwaukee Bucks play against the Denver Nuggets in the NBA Finals. It'll be a close series, but I'm going to lean on the true best player of Europe, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I believe he will pull it out. We will see our fifth NBA champion that has been able to win in spite of the 40 before 20. And here's one of the main reasons why. If you look at the teams that won in 2021, the
Bucks did it.
Milwaukee Bucks beat the Phoenix Suns and won a championship, and they did not win 40 games before 20 losses. And so I believe Giannis can do it again. That's right. He would make history. Milwaukee is still my pick today to win an NBA championship.
Healthy Giannis is dangerous in the playoffs. So it's a valid point, especially since they were the last team to do it. It's definitely possible.
You gotta be careful looking at these statistics, man. You really do, because it's something like this that might make you wanna pick Minnesota, and let me tell you, everybody, I'm a Minnesota fan. I'm a Timberwolves fan. I'm an Anthony Edwards fan, even though he's with Adidas. And I got another stat for you, okay? And this is a rhetorical one. Everybody, if you're listening right now, I want you to think for a second. If you're a basketball fan, tell me the last Adidas signature player, right? Adidas signature shoe player that has an NBA championship. Who's the last guy that has their own sneaker with Adidas that's won a ring?
Yeah.
If Dame wins it, like, that's Giannis. That's not Dame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
These
it's
guys are not winners, is what you're
and
saying.
that's they're not winners. They're not winners. That's a fact. It's not me saying it, it's the facts telling you. And that's what makes me sad, because Anthony Edwards is my guy. I don't know why he wanted to sign with a losing brand like Adidas, but couldn't take them. And I do think that the Thunder are just too young. I believe that if you get Jokic against Chet, barbecue chicken alert. That's a barbecue chicken alert the whole series. Yes, SGA is going to do his thing, but Jokic, I believe, is a much more dominant force today than SGA. Speaking of young players, rookies, Victor Wembanyama, this man seems to have taken his game to another level in this league, and his confidence is through the roof. And we know that because he is shooting no look. He's shooting no look threes,
Turnaround threes.
turnaround
Turn
threes,
around, step back three.
a step back three, turn around and heckling the fan, watching it go through on his way back. I mean, this guy, has he exceeded the hype? Is he living up to the hype? How do you feel about Victor Wembanyama?
Year one, I did not expect this, I'm gonna be honest, especially with his block numbers and his steal numbers. I really didn't
Yeah.
expect it year one. I mean, we're seeing 2010 5 5 5 games from him already. It's unbelievable. I saw a statistic with some of the categories that he's in with certain people. It's like Wilt, David Robinson, Hakeem, and him are like, and this is his rookie year, and he just looks incredible right now. His confidence is through the roof. I think he's really figured out how he can affect the game more than anybody else on the court. Leads the NBA in blocks right now. He's got the most blocks per game. Defensive Player of the Year candidate as a rookie. What more can you ask for? I think the Spurs just need some time, or he just needs some time to build some teammates around him that can help him win. Because obviously, this guy can go out there and put on a performance and help a team win.
Yep, the team is garbage, but Victor Wembanyama is anything but. He has been fantastic. He's averaging 3.4 blocks a game and scoring almost 21 a game right now. And here's a stat that stands out to me, right? Of course, we want to talk about how he's leading the league in blocks, all these different things, but if you look at points per minute, Jokic leads the league at 1.71. Victor Wembanyama tied at 1.71 points per minute with Luka Doncic in third at 1.66. And Luka leads the league in usage rate, right? He has the ball in his hands more than anybody in the NBA. But Victor Wembanyama as a rookie,
That's pretty comforting.
1.71 points per minute. That means if you watch Wemby play, and this guy's playing like 30 minutes a game. Okay. Like it's not
Yeah,
like
we're not getting 38, 40 minutes a game from Victor.
his
It seems
last
like he's
5
still
games.
on
Yeah,
minute
his last
restriction.
5 games, he's been playing 31 minutes a game. And he is leading the league, tied with NBA champion Finals MVP Jokic in points per minute. The kid has been incredible. He really has. He just plays for the Spurs, and the Spurs are terrible. And so as his stars continue to rise, we're seeing a lot more talk around Trae Young as a possible destination in this offseason. Look, if you guys have been listening to the pod for a while, you know how we feel about Trae Young. He's not really a winner, but he's a solid player. We're not going to stand here and act like he's not a solid player. We just don't have him as one of the greatest point guards we've ever seen touch a basketball. Okay. But you pair him with the Victor Wembanyama, you let Wembanyama be your best guy and Trae Young backing him up. Now that's where we like to see a Trae Young. If Trae's your second best player, oh, that's a dynamic duo. And so the conversation is Trae to LA as a Laker or trade to San Antonio. Those are the two like cream of the crop teams that are talking about Trae Young. Do you feel like a Victor Wembanyama Trae Young combination makes sense in San Antonio?
It definitely makes sense. I'm pretty sure Trae Young has led the league in like lobs for a
Hmm.
few years in a row. I mean,
Hmm.
the guy is always first, second, or third in the league in assists every single year.
And
Turns the ball
turnovers.
over a lot. Yeah, but the guy can pass the ball very well. And if he's lobbing to somebody that's 7'4", 7'5", what more can you ask for? That's Lob City all day. He's been doing it with Clint Capella, so why can't he do it with Victor Wembanyama? It seems like, you add a guy who's been in the league for over 5 years, you pair him with Victor. That's something that could work out. Definitely better than what he's got. He's got Jones at the point guard position right now, who's not awful, but obviously an upgrade would be Trae Young. So I think it's something that could work out.
I think Jones is a fantastic backup point guard. I think he's exactly what you'd want coming off the bench. We saw him absolutely dominate when he was in Memphis, and when he got spot minutes as a starter with John Morant being out, he was great. And so I agree. I think right now they're asking a little bit too much from some of the guys in the rotation. Going and getting a player like Trae Young, Victor Wembanyama taking another step. Maybe San Antonio becomes a free agent destination in the next couple of years. I think there's something that could really be there. And Trae Young, I mean, he's gonna get people in a stadium. He's a flashy player. Okay, he can shoot the three ball, and I think it's the type of move that you go into year 2, you don't wanna be wasting a guy like Victor Wembanyama. You don't wanna waste his career. You wanna give him the chance to actually win some games, because if you live at the bottom of the standings for too long, sometimes it doesn't matter how good of a scorer you are. That mentality can be hard to get out from underneath. But Victor Wembanyama, man, guy's been impressive. If he keeps this up, no question, he should be Rookie of the Year. I know Chet is playing on a team that's winning more games. But when you look at Victor, he is the guy doing this, whereas Chet is behind the guy, SGA. Transitioning the topic of keeping it within the league, we're looking at the Boston Celtics. Okay. Boston right now is far and away head in the standings at 48 wins, 12 losses, an 11-game win streak, and they absolutely punked the Golden State Warriors. Roman, they have won 80% of their games this season. 80%. Okay. What is the recipe for success for the Boston Celtics? And is this enough for them to win a championship?
Defense. It's defense for a team like this. Once you add Drew Holiday, there's nothing more you could ask for in a guard. One of the most unselfish guys in the league, but he knows how to score the ball and he could play defense 1 through 4, basically. And adding Kristaps Porzingis, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. The guy, another good defender, also 7'3" and a scorer. Uh, this is the type of thing you expect from the Boston Celtics. I saw a stat and it was records versus teams below 500 and under 500. And the thing that kind of separated the Boston Celtics is they were 21-2 against teams that were below 500. With a lot of the other teams, they kind of stagger away and you see closer to 10 losses against below 500 teams. Sometimes these teams who are contenders as of right now slip up against some of these teams and, they're 16-7 against teams that are below 500. But with the Celtics, when they're playing a team that they should beat, they've been going out and winning those games, like you said, about 80% of the time. So I think the consistency with their pieces that they've gained is what puts them away from everybody else.
What was the better acquisition in the offseason? Drew Holiday or Chris Dingus?
I would say Drew, but Drew was basically just the replacement for Marcus Smart.
Yeah, but he's better than Marcus Smart. He's
He's
better
better,
than
but
Marcus Smart.
I mean, Marcus Smart was coming off a Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, but
Let's
this is
not
the
forget about
difference.
that.
This is the difference. When we're watching Boston play the Heat last season, Marcus Smart, for some reason, has the ball in his hands to shoot the last shot. You know the one I'm talking about. You know
Yeah.
the one I'm talking about.
Yes. Versus
He's
the Heat.
shooting the
Yep.
three. Yes. He has no business shooting that shot, but he felt like he should have. And that was my issue with Marcus Smart. Jason Tatum needs to be taking that last shot. And if he's not, Jaylen Brown should be shooting that shot. But for some reason, Marcus Smart is the one shooting that ball. And I believe that with Drew Holiday, he knows how to default to the superstar in the right moments. I think he is the ultimate team player. He is the ultimate team player. And so having a guy like that, it's a massive upgrade, not just on the court, but also up here for the team because he's thinking ahead. He knows what the team actually needs. I'm leaning towards the Drew Holiday move. I'm not saying that
I might be
Kristaps isn't
leaning towards Derek
legitimate.
White, honestly. Derek White
Okay,
might
but
be
Derek
the
White wasn't this
best.
past offseason, man. It wasn't this
Yeah,
past
but he
offseason. He's
was
been
there,
there.
but the man stepped up. Tell me I'm
You
wrong.
wanna say bald Derek White? Bald Derek White, he's the guy?
Paul Derek White, I mean, he primarily guards the best player on the court. The dude can guard anybody, and he's shooting the ball super well, scoring the ball super well. I think he's been their most important piece of the season. But in terms of acquisition, Drew probably makes the most sense, but I think
Mm.
Porzingis is almost just as important.
'Cause right now they seem unstoppable. Right now they are unstoppable. How does someone beat the Boston Celtics in the postseason?
Have chemistry. A team that's been together, like the Nuggets, has won together 4 years. You run into them. I mean, I don't think you can really shut down the Celtics offensively. I mean, they just have so many pieces, but I think a really good defensive team who can slow down a Jason Tatum, slow down a Jaylen Brown, and be a team that's been together for a while is a good recipe for beating the Celtics.
You just gotta make Jaylen Brown shoot with the left, 'cause he cannot. He cannot. He can't even make a left-handed layup in the pregame.
He's gonna get to his
Alright?
right hand, that's for sure.
Listen, man, I saw the clip where he was missing those layups in the pregame. I think you sent it to me, and it was at the point, and I'm left-handed, okay? I cannot shoot a lick with my right hand. I am terrible with my right hand, so I know what was happening in Jaylen Brown's mind. As soon as he missed the first 3, then you have to make it look like you weren't trying. You have to make it look like you were just messing around the whole time, because you're embarrassed. Because you're embarrassed. And, sure enough,
He knows there's
his
cameras
left
on him.
hand oh, for sure, his left hand is embarrassing. I I think that if you want to beat the Boston Celtics I think one of the main reasons why it's hard for people to trust the Boston Celtics is because they've been this team for so many years where they're atop the Eastern Conference, and then when we get to the playoffs, they just fold. They fold against Miami, or they fold against Milwaukee, or they fold against Golden State. It's like right
Or LeBron James.
when we get to that moment, Tatum just doesn't have it. Somebody doesn't have it. And so this year they've got more guys than they've ever had, more stars, better players, but it's hard to believe in them because we've been watching this team for the better part of 8 years not be able to do it.
It
Who
hurts.
knows?
It
Maybe
hurts
this
to
is the
watch.
year. I don't think it is. Obviously, as you guys know, I've got Milwaukee, so I think that the buck stops in Milwaukee for the Boston Celtics. But maybe I'll be wrong. We never know.
I think I've said it
Uh,
before. That would be the best matchup in Eastern Conference Finals.
for
Would
sure.
definitely be Bucks Celtics. That's what everybody wants to see.
That's what America came here to watch. I think that if there were 2 series that you would wanna get, you wanna see the I would wanna see the Thunder play the Timberwolves. Show me both young teams. Show me those young
That would be
teams.
awesome. That would be really
Mhm.
awesome.
And then people wanna see Boston versus Milwaukee. People wanna see Boston versus Milwaukee.
I want to
Nobody
see
wants
Knicks
to
Cavs
watch the
again.
bum Yeah, oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
But I
Nobody
mean,
wants to see the
that first
bum
round,
Heat do anything.
first round. I know
Yeah.
Jimmy's going to make a
Just
playoff
don't
run and
just
lose in the
don't
Eastern Conference Finals.
no. Don't give
He's
me
going
the
to
Heat,
knock out
dude.
two
Nobody wants to
contenders.
watch the
Just
Heat.
watch it happen. Just watch it happen.
No.
Jimmy's going to average
No.
45 in a series and knock out a contender.
Listen, I know that I was dead wrong every single series until the finals with the Miami Heat. Not this season. Not this season, okay?
Careful.
Miami is not that team. They're not
Be
that
careful.
team. Oh,
You got to
come
be
on,
careful,
man.
bro.
Okay, okay. The only team that they could upset. I could see a Philly upset. I could see that, but
They did it
they're
to the
not.
Bucks.
If they Boston,
They did it to the Bucks
Giannis was
last
hurt.
year,
Giannis was
Moses.
hurt. Giannis was hurt. They hurt him. They literally injured him. Gosh, dude, shut
The
up.
man
They
came
injured
back and
him
still lost.
because he was still hurt.
Uh,
He was not healthy.
Jimmy was hurt too.
Shut up. An ankle? Okay, okay. You know this better than just about anybody. An ankle injury versus a back injury they're not even
Way better to
close to
have
the
an ankle
same.
injury.
Oh, an ankle is a million times better than a back injury, dude. Back is
I'm just
awesome.
saying, bro, you got to be careful with the Heat because if Bam puts up over 25 and Jimmy is putting up 2 games of 40 points, they could steal 3 games just like that. And all of a sudden they're up 3-2.
They can't keep getting away with this, okay? They can't.
Jimmy always
It's
does.
no,
Jimmy
not
Butler
this
effect.
time.
It's Heat culture, Moses.
Not.
It's Heat culture.
No, we need to be I'm tired of heat culture, man. I'm tired of it. These ugly jerseys. They deserve to pay for those ugly jerseys. These things are freaking horrendous. I'm sick of it, man. I'm
They
sick
need to
of it.
pay for that court. They need to pay for those jerseys. That's
Okay, let's keep talking about some of these contenders. Let's talk about SGA. Let's talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. It feels like no matter how good Oklahoma City has been, no matter how good SGA's been, not just on the court, but in the captions on Instagram, people don't really see him as a household name yet. People don't really see SGA as a guy that could be a face of this league. Is it about the Thunder? Why do we feel like we can't embrace this team? Because to me, when I look at it, they have a big three again. It's SGA, it's J Dub, and it's Chet. And this is their new big three for the first time since Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. So why are we not embracing this team the same way we did the Oklahoma City teams previously?
They're too young. We haven't seen the success that we saw from from that OKC team. What I don't know what year this is for SGA with them, but what really made OKC scary is when they when they kicked Kobe out the playoffs. The
Yeah.
young team making it to the finals in year 5 for KD. So that's what made this team special is they had had some playoff success, and we
Let me
haven't
hold you
seen
right
it.
there. Let me hold you right there. You like that team because Kevin Durant took them to a finals year 5. SGA, this is year 6. I'm just saying.
I mean, yes,
I'm
but
just
he
saying.
wasn't drafted to this team, and SGA
That's
wasn't
true.
he wasn't that guy on the Clippers.
That's true
Completely
too.
different player. Like, yes, there was
You're right.
potential, but he wasn't getting the minutes. They kinda had their own thing going. The trade to OKC was the best thing that could have happened for him. Who
Mhm.
knows what would have been if he was still a Clipper. I mean, he probably still
He
would have been
wouldn't be
great,
that
not
guy.
as great as he is. But
Yeah.
again, it's just a young team who hasn't had any success. And when we're talking about the NBA culture and people watching basketball, people watch the playoffs way more than they watch the regular season, especially with football going on in regular season. It's,
Mhm.
people don't think regular season games matter at all. But
Mhm.
think a second round playoff run, if they can just win one round, if they get to the conference finals, the SGA, this will be a new big three, a young big three for sure. But the playoff success is most important when it comes to uh, just NBA culture and talking about the NBA.
There's 3 guys that I think you have well, yeah, let's call it 3. I think there's 3 players that if you beat them, you might be able to put yourself on the map. And number 1, it's Jokic. If you beat Denver, you're legit. If OKC beats Denver in the postseason, they're gonna earn that respect. Second is Steph Curry. I think if you beat Golden State, right, you're beating a team that's a 4-time champion. I believe that you're gonna get some respect for beating Golden State. And 3, I think, is LeBron James. I know some of you might have thought I was gonna say Kevin Durant. I'm not. I think if you can beat LeBron, that still holds value in the sense that all eyes are gonna be on you, right? People are watching LeBron James play, so you're actually gonna get people are watching the Lakers play. So you're gonna get the eyeballs necessary to be able to maybe go to that next level. So if you're the Thunder, you those teams, that's the only way that you're gonna get that recognition. It's the only way.
I think a Clippers team too. People are high on the Clippers
Really.
this season. If you can take out
Oh, the Clippers are good.
whoever
Clippers are
takes
good, but the
out,
Clippers have
yeah,
to
whoever takes out James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George, that'd
I
be a hard
think
team to beat in the playoffs.
I feel like you won't get the credit. I feel like if you beat the Clippers, the narrative is gonna be James Harden and Paul George can't do it again in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna be.
Kawhi doesn't
Like,
have the narrative of other big players like he should because
Kawhi
he's
has
just not
nothing.
into
He's got
basketball
nothing left to
like other
prove.
players are.
He's got nothing
Yeah.
left to prove. Kawhi's legacy is cemented. If he wins another ring, okay, then he's gonna jump another level, but, like, his legacy is cemented,
Yeah, Kawhi losing is
genuinely.
not as big
But
as the
Harden,
other players losing.
no,
Yeah.
no. Paul George, if he loses, James Harden, if he loses, it'd be better for Paul to be injured than play and lose. Same with Harden at this point.
Yes, the what could have been instead of what really happened.
Do you
I
think
think
Paul
I'm
George resigns with Clippers?
see, I've been seeing stuff about him going different
Yeah,
places. I don't know how comfortable
yeah,
he is with I mean, he was an all-star, but I don't know.
yeah.
I really don't know. It it's up in the air. I'm thinking I'm leaning more towards no. I'm leaning more towards he not there next year, especially if they don't win. If
Dang,
they don't win, if they don't make it to the Western Conference Finals, I think he's out.
dang. Playoff P? Playoff P? Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. First and foremost, shout out to LeBron James, 40,000 points. 40,000 points. And what do you have? 19? Was it 19 in the fourth?
I'm pretty sure it's
I think it
19.
might have
I
been,
didn't watch
I
it.
think it was 19, 5 threes, just was going crazy. Big week for LeBron. But what's sad is every time LeBron breaks these records, he loses to the Denver Nuggets. 3 times in a row that he loses to the Denver Nuggets. So somebody, whoever's scheduling these games, can you schedule them like, I don't know, Golden State, or can you schedule them a
These last
more
two
even
records have
team?
been so annoying. I mean, well,
Yeah,
last year
because they
he played
lose bad.
OKC. They played OKC
Yeah,
when he broke the record, and SGA just
yeah, that's true.
spoiled it, just spoiled it. And then this year,
Yeah, yeah, he went
Nuggets make a
crazy.
fourth quarter comeback and spoil it. So yeah, LeBron's achievement nights are not winning Lakers nights.
And it is unfortunate, especially because all these LeBron haters, they're gonna let us know forever. "Ooh, they
Mm,
lost."
casual
Shut
than
up.
it's what LeBron does. He loses.
Shut up. It's like, you know what? Because most of those guys are Kobe guys or they're MJ guys. It's like And, how come Kobe's last game wasn't, in the playoffs when he beat Utah?
It's the Lakers suck.
'Cause the Lakers sucked. That's right, because they were garbage. So maybe should put some respect on this man's name. Anyways, speaking of records, Caitlyn Clark, she feels like every week she's breaking a record now. We're kind of at that period. We're kinda at that point in the season. Here's my thing, man. I'm on my couch, obviously, because I do not play professional basketball, and I see a notification on my television on my Apple TV that says Caitlin Clark about to break Pistol Pete Maravich's all-time scoring record. They're not the same sport. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?
Oh,
It
be
is
careful,
men's
Mo.
basketball and
Be
women's
careful, Mo.
basketball. No,
Be
listen,
careful.
we don't say so and so is about to beat this woman's all-time percentage three-point shooting percentage record or this person's all-time college scoring record. You never see it. You never see it. Nobody shows you a stat that says this player is about to outscore this woman who played. And that's not a bad thing. That's okay because there's women's sports and there's men's sports. They're not. Why are we doing this? We're trying to make a story that doesn't exist. Why is this happening?
They gotta push the narrative. You know what they're doing, Moses.
Yeah, but it
Gotta
sucks.
bump the
It's
numbers up for the
terrible.
ladies. Come on, she passed Pete Maravich in scoring. I knew they were gonna do this. They have to do it. They have to do something to get people talking about it. There's no way they can't.
Listen, Pistol Pete
You gotta push
Maravich
a narrative.
played with no three. He played with no 3-point line, no shot clock, and no brothers in the league. Okay, there were not black people he was playing against either. So let's just put that out there to keep it a buck. To keep it a buck, that needs to be said. But let's stop doing this, man. Stop doing this this women's college basketball player, this WNBA player is about to break this. Don't do that. Stop it. Stop it. Get some help.
Or definitely try to push a
Gosh,
narrative.
okay. No, they are, and just let her be great in her own right, in her own sport, because she is great. Genuinely, she is. She has been phenomenal. Now you got about what her experience is gonna be like in the WNBA. What you got?
This is my concern is she gonna make the WNBA what they're looking for? I think she's the perfect product of what they could be looking for, but will the WNBA be able to market it right? Is she going to live up to the hype? She most likely will. I mean, Caitlin Clark is not just scoring the ball. We've seen countless triple doubles from her. She just as entertaining as anybody else. I think I saw a video of Travis Scott pulling up to for one of the
Mhm.
games, and these
Yeah.
celebrities are coming out to watch Caitlin Clark play. So she definitely has the talent that she's going to bring numbers like none other. But will this make them a profitable market? Because this is what we've been talking about in the last few years, how they don't make money. The only reason they're a thing is because of the the NBA support for them. So
Mhm.
will she make them a profitable league? And what does that look like for them? Is she the face of the WNBA as she comes in? What do you think?
Whatever team drafts her is gonna see a major lift in attendance, jersey sales. I just believe that the women's college basketball game is a much more mature league and it holds more space in people's minds than the WNBA. Because Brianna Stewart was a household name when she played in college. Deladon, she was dominant. Skylar Diggins, dominant. Dominant. There have been plenty of women's college basketball players that when they played, uh, they were big time, and we saw clips of them online, and we would see some of their games. You know, you'd watch UConn when UConn was dominant, but when they got to the WNBA, they weren't able to carry that momentum, and I don't believe it's because of the player. I think it's because of the league. So can Caitlin Clark take the league another step further? Yes. To what extent is that like, how is that gonna impact ratings or whether or not people are gonna watch WNBA games? I don't think so, because the college teams, they have the history necessary to propel a player to that next level. I mean, people are saying that then in NIL money, Caitlin Clark's making $800,000 a year right now. She's She's not gonna make that as soon as she goes to the WNBA. It's just not gonna be there the same way. Now, I'm not gonna say that her deals outside of basketball can't her to that level. I'm just saying it's different. It's different. And so I don't think that I believe that she'll take the WNBA another step further. Does that mean that it's going to save the league or make it profitable? I just don't see it.
It looked like the Indiana Fever had that projected number one pick, and I don't know much about the WNBA. Don't
Did you even know Indiana Fever were a team before you
I
looked
I
that up?
think I did know they were a team. I probably wouldn't have mentioned if they were, like, named WNBA teams, but,
Yeah.
we're gonna know now, especially if she goes
Yeah.
there.
But that's what makes it tough, right? Like in the top teams in women's college basketball, you're thinking UConn, Tennessee, South Carolina. You're looking at teams like Baylor sneak in there, Texas sneaks in there at times. Like
The
you can
LSU.
name LSU has been great as of late. That's what I think is tough is like there's history with the schools. And I think that's like the differentiating factor. Speaking of college players that have been impressive to watch, there's a kid playing at Kentucky, a freshman, Rob Dillingham. He does things with the basketball I just have never seen. He's got a different kind of green light. And it feels like if he would have been playing 5 years ago, everybody in America would know this kid's name. But for some reason, it feels like he's flying under the radar at Kentucky. What What is it? Because I think he's been great. I mean, he's a lottery pick for sure. Why are we not seeing Kentucky and Rob Dillingham and some of these other players getting that same national coverage like we have in the past?
Kentucky does not feel the same. I just not the same team. I think with the transfer portal and all of that, like, it's so up in the air of who's gonna be the number 1 team at
Yeah.
what point, and you don't see your UNCs, your Kentucky. I mean, UConn is obviously always up there now, but, like, growing up for me, it was like UNC or Kentucky, like, who are you looking at
Yeah.
right now? But it doesn't seem like that anymore. Like I said, the transfer portal has made it so anybody can just you can just go anywhere. You get offered the right amount of money, you're gonna go there. I know his draft stock has been rising, so in terms of, what it looks like for him going into the NBA, it's continuing to rise. He can score the ball super well, super confident, and very smooth player, just looks great. But again, I think the energy of how players are moving around in college basketball has just changed that.
Yeah. I was listening to sports radio and someone said I don't know the starting five for the Tar Heels. I can't name you a starting 5 for any college team in the nation, and that's what makes it hard to watch it on television. They're saying that's one of the reasons why Caitlyn Clark pulls the number she does because you know what you're gonna watch. You know who she is because of the consistency that's there. There's no consistency in men's college basketball. They're just going where the money is. They're just going what the check is. And because that's the case, there's no, like, runaway favorite. Like, there were those the Anthony Davis team, John Wall Kentucky team, like, those runaway favorites, man. They just were far and away anybody else. You had teams like that in UNC, the back-to-back national champion Florida teams. Like, there have been those teams that are just like, "Hey, we are just clearly better than everybody else," or had names. Duke's had big name teams, Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, a big name team, and there's just no names in college basketball anymore. It's difficult for these players to be able to kind of take the next step. And it's sad because Rob Dillingham, the kid is legit. He is legit, man. But Kentucky doesn't win, not like they used to. And so it's sad. But let me tell you right now, if you want to see a human highlight reel, this guy is the Kyrie of tested jump shots in college. What Kyrie
So
does
impressive.
with his handles, Rob Dillingham, he just he has he makes he has highlights that are so good you stop looking at your phone. You have to look away for a second. That's what this kid can do with the basketball. Kid's special. Kid is special.
Shout out Rob Dillingham. Love the guy. The guy.
Shout out Rob Dillingham. Hey, we're late in the season. Roman, give me a prediction for MVP. Has it changed at all for you?
It is up in the air right now.
Mhm,
I feel like you've got a kind of obvious one where it's like, okay, he's top dog, Jokic. The
mhm,
Nuggets are winning, and he's still putting up triple double numbers every single night. I think he's your one right now. But then once you get
mhm,
like 2 through 5, this is where it's crazy because Luca is putting up almost 35 points a game on triple double numbers, and the Mavericks are,
mhm,
again in contention. Well, not contention, but they're winning games. They're winning games. Jason Tatum is the best player on the best team in the NBA, so he can always be in the
mhm.
conversation. Giannis is putting up Giannis numbers. I think the numbers are better than what he was putting up a couple years ago when he won MVP. Uh, and then SGA, the young talent, but I was talking about his consistency a little bit earlier. You know what you're going to get from SGA every night,
Mhm.
on the offensive end and also on the defensive end. This guy gets a block and a few steals. It seems like every single night. I think tonight I was just looking at the stats. He put up, I think it was 3 steals and 2 blocks, and this is something that we see on a consistent basis from him. So up in the air. The favorite is going to be Jokic. I don't know how long his numbers fell down after a couple months into the NBA season, but again, it's Jokic is number one. It's a toss up after that right now.
This stuff gets really difficult because of how much scoring we're seeing this year in this league. So Luka Doncic right now is 34.5 points, 8.9 rebounds, 9.7 assists. Jokic is 25.9 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists. Tatum is 27 points, 8.4 boards, 4.8 assists. Giannis is 30 points a game, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Shea is 31 points a game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. I don't think Shea's going to win it. I think he's got a better shot at a scoring title than he does an MVP. That's just me. I don't think that the narrative's behind him enough. Even if they were to get the number 1 seed in the West, I just don't think it'll be there. I also don't think that Jason Tatum is going to be able to get it just because it's a spread the wealth kind of situation in Boston, even though the may not show when we get to that point. I just don't think he'll have the narrative. We know this is a narrative driven award. I also don't NBA's weird about giving out MVPs. They kind of don't want you to get a certain number to protect some of those guys from the
Three
80s.
this early.
They don't like it when you get a lot of
Mm,
MVPs because now somebody might be in the territory of those guys from the 80s and the 90s. And so I think Jokic won't have the narrative. Leaves you with 2 players, Luca and Giannis. And as much as it
reach for
pains me to
Giannis.
say it, as much as it pains me to say it, I think my MVP is probably going to be Luca. It's probably going to be Luca.
If he stays at the points per game that he's at right now, I mean, we know he's going to get the rebounds and assists, but if he stays at almost 35 for the next 20 games, he should win it.
Bro, if we get late and he can move the needle and get one of those to like a 10 and 10, if he's 35, 10 and 10, he's winning it.
He has to.
If he's
He
35,
can't
10 and
not
10,
win
he's
that.
winning it. That's what I'm saying. And he's in the
Yeah.
playoffs. If he's 35, 10 and 10 in the playoffs, he's winning it. And so it pains me to say it because I'm not a big Luca guy. I don't think his game translates to wins when it matters most. I think he's gonna be too tired by the time we get to the postseason, very similar to James Harden. But MVP, probably gonna be Luca.
They're taking over, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, this is their league. We just own the teams. It's a European league. We just own the teams. Okay,
I
that's it.
think out of those 5 names that we just named, Jason Tatum's the only one that's from the United States. So
You're dang right because
there's
Shea's from
that.
Canada,
Yeah.
and if Embiid was there, Embiid's not from here either.
Yep.
Golly, that is just something. That is ridiculous. Shout out to them Europeans. Let's talk about the Western Conference right now. It's an extremely close race. We're talking about the Nuggets have a better record this year than they did at this point last year, and they're the 3 seed. Okay. The Thunder 42 and 18, Timberwolves 42 and 19, Nuggets 42 and 19, Clippers 39 and 20, Pelicans, right? Pelicans, wow, 36 and
Quiet,
25,
quietly
a,
winning.
a, a, a quiet 5 seed. The Kings 34 and 25, other than Murphy's mom, other than Trey Murphy's mom, she made an appearance.
That was hilarious.
But we start looking at some of these what would consider them of the barrel teams, maybe like the Lakers at 33 wins. The Lakers are 3 games away from being the 5 seed, okay? They are 33 and 29, and the Pelicans are 36 and 25. It is extremely close in the West.
Getting some
Extremely
deja
close.
vu. I'm getting deja vu. This is exactly what happened last year. Lakers are the 11th seed and end up as the 7th seed. Same with I mean, it's kind of the opposite for the Warriors. They were kind of higher throughout the year, kind of
Mhm.
fell down. But again, this is what we saw last year towards the end. It was super close, like 5 through 10. So it's probably going to end up being the same thing.
Yeah. Wow. I don't think people predicted the Suns to be the 7 seed. I think they're a little bit lower right now than people would have expected. Excuse me. The Mavericks at the 8. It's just it's such a mixed bag. And then why are the Jazz 20 at the 11? Like, Utah,
The Jazz go on a good 10-game run. They might mess up everything.
the Jazz. Gosh dang it, Utah.
Don't you want a great draft pick? Come
Uh,
on.
maybe the easiest thing to talk about is who do we not want to see in that play-in game, right? I don't think anybody's cracking the top 4. I think that the Clippers, Minnesota, OKC, Nuggets, I think that's solid. I don't think anybody's getting through. You're looking up at the 4, but who do we not want to see in a play-in game?
What do you mean by with the question? Like, who do I think will not be in the playing game? Or like, how are you trying
Oh,
to,
man.
what are you looking for?
That's a great clarifier. If you're the NBA and you want the if you wanna get the best ratings possible, who do you for sure not wanna be in the play game? Who do you want locked in, will be in the playoffs? Does that make more sense?
Lakers, Warriors, Suns, Mavericks. Those are those four
That
teams,
order?
4 out of 6 teams that you don't, yeah. Lakers, Warriors, I don't know. Suns, Mavericks is kind of like, those are the bottom two, but I mean, Kyrie and Luca, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, like, but those are my 4 teams that, like, if the NBA chooses, those are the teams that you move up to those, your 5 seed, your 6 seed, your 7 seed, with like you move them up in the seeding.
So it's just
Yes, the
who on
Kings,
New
but like,
Orleans? Nobody no,
yeah,
but
Kings
the
and
Kings, I
Pelicans,
mean,
but they're probably gonna, knowing basketball, the Kings and the Pelicans are probably gonna end up being the 5 and the 6 seed. I
yeah,
would not be surprised if that's what
yeah.
happened. And that would be the greatest play-in tournament we've ever seen. Suns, Mavericks, Lakers, Warriors. Are you kidding me? That would be the greatest thing ever, but it just
Who do
sucks
you
that it'll
have
be
coming
playing.
out? Who comes out of that? Out of those 4,
Okay.
who comes out?
From the 5 to the 10 seed, how does it go for me?
Sure, sure. Like, no, 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 no. Post play-in, what is like, your 8 teams post
Oh,
play-in?
what are the playoffs? Who makes it out?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
The Warriors have just had so many up and downs. I don't think they make it.
Warriors
And then
out.
yeah, Warriors out. That's what I say. And
I've got Mavs in. I've got the Mavs in. Count the Mavs
yeah,
in.
yeah. I think Mavs in, and then for me,
In.
Pelicans might just start dropping. I don't know. I just, something about the Pelicans just isn't there for me. As good as BI has been playing, Zion's been putting up good numbers as well. Like, they look like a good team,
You think
but
you get like a Zion you got like a Zion injury in like a week or 2 from now, and they
they
fall
haven't
out.
had playoff success either. I mean, you catch them in a playing
Mm,
game, they might just be really scared and lose. I just don't see them there.
'kay,
And
'kay.
I don't like the Lakers this year. They're terrifying to me. They're not healthy. They're not consistent. I don't like the Lakers, but I don't know if I can count LeBron out. I don't know if I can count LeBron and Anthony Davis out. I don't think I can do that. But then I can't count
You gotta make a
Devin Booker,
decision.
and yeah, I have to. You know what? I'm gonna be risky. Warriors and Lakers don't make it.
So that means you're gonna take the Suns, you're gonna take the Kings, and your last team outside of the Mavericks is going to be because you got Lakers, Warriors, Mavericks, Suns, Kings, Pelicans. That would mean that you'd
Yeah,
have,
so
like, the
it's,
Jazz in
wait, no,
because
because
you
it
go
goes,
Thunder,
we have
Thunder,
our, yeah, we have
Nuggets,
Thunder.
Clippers,
Yeah.
Kings, Suns, Mavericks. You need one more.
Pelicans. Oh, wait, no, not Pelicans.
And
Yeah, Pelicans.
you got the
I see them
Pelicans at the
dropping.
bottom.
But I wouldn't say they're out because
Okay,
they're a
okay,
5
okay,
seed right now. But
okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna take the risk and say Warriors, Lakers don't make the playoffs this year. I'm hating on Steph. I'm hating on Bron. Where's
Oh
your
my
prediction? Where you
god.
at? Let's hear it. Let's hear it. What you got?
Okay, so top 4 are locked in. They are what they
Yep.
are. I think you have to take the Kings. I think the Kings make it for sure. 2, they're so boring, they make it. They're so boring, they make it. Give me the Kings. I think the Warriors miss the playoffs. I think the Warriors miss the playoffs. I've got the Warriors on the outside looking in. I have the Lakers making the playoffs, but they get bounced in the first round. I have Dallas, and it's Pelicans versus the Suns. God.
Pelicans are scary though. Like for a team that could potentially not make it, they're scary.
Okay,
I mean, they
let me
sit
tell
the
you something.
5 seed right now.
Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. These NBA stars, I think there's a huge parallel between NBA players and rappers. Let me tell you what it is. Like, we live in a world where be because of social media, these rappers can just keep dropping singles and albums that are just not that good, and we'll keep listening to them. It's like the top guys just won't retire. They won't stop making music. They're still making music, and it's not letting these young guys really come through. That's how I feel. And so it's like when we're talking about the best in the game, we're still like, well, Drake is still making music. So Drake and man, Kendrick's still making music, even though his last album wasn't good. Drake's last album wasn't that good. J. Cole's album's probably still going to be really good. Let's be honest. He's going to deliver. Um, but that's how I feel. Future still puts out music and a lot of it's just not good. Like these guys just keep making music instead of just moving on. They're still making music. And so I feel like the same thing happens in the NBA where you're like, Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant, right? And you're like, but he's in like year, what, 15,
Yeah,
17? Like,
he's having one of the best seasons he's ever had, which is crazy.
exactly, exactly. This is what keeps happening. It's like, this is the best year so and so we've ever seen. And it's like, yeah, but like
Oh,
these young guys have to beat you eventually.
when
And
does
with
the
that being
torch get
said,
passed?
not this year. I'm taking the Phoenix Suns. I think the Pelicans are going to fall out. I have no reason to believe in Zion and his health. I believe that will be the reason. My bottom 4 will be Kings, Lakers, Mavericks, Suns.
Valid. So we kind of both had a bottom 3-ish, but I knocked out
Yeah,
the two most entertaining teams in the NBA. So
but
there's
it's a
that.
valid. But it's so valid though. It's
They're old.
so valid.
Old. If they end at
So
9 and 10,
valid.
that means they have to go through 2 of probably the toughest games that the NBA sees throughout the year to make it to the playoffs. That's my thing for it. It's like, yes, Steph might be able to squeak out a 45-point game, but can he do it again to get into the playoffs if they're a 9 or 10 seed?
No, because he can't carry a bum squad to do it. He can't carry a
Will
bum squad
Jonathan
to do it.
Kuminga show up? No, that's not the question.
Kaminga. Hey, I'm happy for Kaminga. We were watching
Boy got
Kuminga in high
skills.
school. It's good to see him. He's in that mode. He is in that mode. All right, and with that, that is it for this episode of the Swishlist podcast. We appreciate everybody for listening. Thank you so much. Please give us a follow. Go find us on social media, whatever your favorite platform is. We're there at Swishlist Pod. Please share this episode with someone that you know. And thank you so much for listening. Season 2, episode 13. That's all I've got. Roman, send us off.
Thank you to all the new listeners. Thank you to all the old listeners. Stay engaged with us. Comment, like, subscribe, follow. We are on all the platforms. We want to know what you guys want to hear from us. We want to hear your feedback. Leave us a comment if you liked the video. If you didn't like the video, let us know. If you're not letting us know, it's getting ridiculous. It's really getting ridiculous. Swishlist Podcast, episode 13. We are out.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Swishlist Podcast. Catch us on social, and we'll see you next week.